Hello students, today we are going to discuss in this lecture about servo mechanism. First we have to learn that what is servo mechanism. A servo system primarily consists of three basic components. The first is control device, an output sensor and a feedback system. These three components comprises of a servo system. This is an automatic closed loop control system. Here instead of controlling a device by applying the variable input signal, the device is controlled by a feedback signal which is generated by comparing the output signal and the reference input signal. It is the concept of a closed loop control system which we have discussed in our earlier classes. Let us take an example of a servo mechanism system of a servo system. Example is the driving of a car. When the driver is starts driving, his eyes tell him where he is on the road and compare it to where he should be, and this information makes its way to his brain. Then the brain decides what action should be taken in order to move the car from where it is and where it should be. That means from the source position and where is the destination position, and sends a signal to the muscles of the arms turning the steering wheel to relying on the car. This is a simple example of servo system. If we consider a block diagram, then we draw in a way that it is an input signal and it is here a point, then it is the brain, then controller, it is the plant, or we can say it is a processor, then it is the output signal, it is the input signal, and here is the summing point, and it is the feedback signal. Here this is the controller is the brain and the plant processor is the leg. Plant, this is the plant, this is the controller, and it is eyes. This is eye of the driver, and input signal is desired direction. When the driver starts to drive a car, his eyes tells him where he is on the road and compare it where he should be, and he should be at this information takes makes its way to his brain. It takes it, then comes to his brain. Then in brain he thoughts that in how many way, or in what way, or in how can he go to the from the source to destination place, and this information is transferred to the brain by the optical nerve of the eye. Then brain gives instruction to the leg, that is the plant. Brain is controller here. Then it gives instruction to the leg, starts the car. Then the car starts to drive. Then at the output, if the direction is diverted or the in a wrong direction, if the car goes, then that is the error. Again the signal is fed back to the input by here is a amplifier is connected. Amplifying signal is come to the input, and these two inputs are further compared and feedback to the brain again, and the brain again controls thoughts, then gives instruction to the arms or legs to start the car. This completes a closed loop cycle, and this is the example of a servo system. Then coming to the next part, here what we have discussed in that block diagram in language form, it is written here. All servo mechanisms have the following parts. First part is a way to measure what to decide and what to be accomplished. Second one is a way to transport this information, and a way to determine the difference between the actual condition and the desired condition. Then fourth element is to amplify this difference and use it to move the actual conditions toward the desired condition. In the previous example which we have discussed, here the car is one, means the way to measure what desired and what being to be accomplished, and eyes are is the optical nerve. 2 is a way to transport the information. Way is the optical nerve and pathway to the brain. Then a way to determine the difference between actual condition and desired condition, that determines the brain, it is the controller. Then a means to amplify this difference and use it to move the actual conditions toward the desired condition, that is the arms and steering wheels. This is the small example of a servo system. A small turn of the wheel translates into a major turn of the car. Then this shows a block diagram of a servo system. This diagram shows the servo motor, of a diagram of a servo motor. Then going to the next part, servo mechanism. What is the mechanism of a servo system? When reference input signal or command signal is applied to the system, it is compared with output reference signal of the system produced by an output sensor, and a third signal is produced by the feedback system. Then this third signal acts as the input signal for the control device. This input signal to the device present as long as there is a logic difference between the reference input signal and the output signal of the system. That means at the point when the error is minimized, the difference between the logic signal and the reference input signal is become equal. At that point, the final output is the desired output. After that, the feedback is not fed to the output, is not fed to the input. At that point, we will get the desired output value. After the device achieves its desired output, there will be no longer the logical difference between the reference input signal and the reference output signal of the system. Hence, the primary task of a servo mechanism is to maintain the output of a system at the desired value in the presence of a disturbance. What we have learned, the primary task of the servo system is to obtain the desired output with the presence of disturbance. Then we will discuss what are the purposes of servo mechanism. First, we said that the purpose of the servo mechanism is accurate control of motion without the need of human attendance, means it is a automatic controller. Human manual handling is not needed in this mechanism. Maintenance of accuracy with mechanical load variation, changes in the environment, power supply fluctuations, aging and deterioration of the components, etc. Then control of a high power load from a low power command signal. It controls a high power load from a low power command signal, means power amplifications. The control of an output from a remotely located input without the use of mechanical linkage. A servo mechanism is always a unique mechanism because from other control systems it differs. How? It controls a parameter by commanding the time-based derivative of a parameter. For example, a servo mechanism controlling position must be capable of changing the velocity of the system because the time-based derivative rate of change of position is velocity. Servo mechanism controlling the position must be capable of changing the velocity of a system. This is a unique characteristics of the servo mechanism. Thank you.